as we were heading down canyon, it was orange on the entire side of the mountain. It was lit up as it was daylight. And not sure how long we were going to be gone. Did silly things like grab 5 pairs of underwear instead of the entire drawer. Things I learned about evacuating that I know now. Got down the canyon and headed down to Ted's place. Sat there overnight watching the fire with the kiddies in the car crying. And spent the night there pretty much. Headed to our son's house in Livermore. Then he went on evacuation notice, so we left there. And we went to our pastor's house on Harmony Road. And they had guests coming in 2 days later, so we had to move again to a hotel on Harmony, which is where we spent the rest of the evacuation. The fire came within 15, 20 feet of my back of my house and garage. We lost one building, a garden shed with 4,000 items in it. Disaster filling out insurance forms. Never did get to rebuild the building as of today. Money just wasn't there, even though we had insurance coverage and we thought it was good insurance coverage. Obviously that was a lie. Learned an interesting thing. We told the truth on all of our insurance claims, and when we got finished, say we got $7 for a $700 bike because of the age, even though it was kept in pristine condition and melted to the bottom of the pile. We asked the insurance lady after it was all totally over and settled, did we get screwed by telling the truth? She shook her head, yes, you did. She said, we just take for granted that everyone lies and overestimates and says things are in their buildings that weren't. So I would have to say yes. So that was an interesting, hard lesson to learn. The good was, yeah, community had been lost, say, within Poudre Park area for probably a good 7 years. It had kind of gone away. That's a whole other story why. The people literally were brought together because of this. We were all in the same boat. The bad, it'll never be the same again, ever. Quite devastating emotionally. The ugly, what's left, and that probably my grandkids won't ever see it the way it was. It won't ever be back to the way it was before. The forest, the trees, the area. We've lost a lot of neighbors. That was the really sad part. Our fire department, fire district, had a lot of funds raised, which was a wake-up call for a lot of people because they don't realize we do get funding from taxes, from our property taxes for the fire department, a small portion. But the funds that were voluntarily raised by people donating to the fire department, wanting to be involved, help in some way, that was very, I don't know if it's surprising, but it was heartening. That was nice to see. Because a lot of people that were down the mountain, that were in the city, what can we do, what can we do, you know, specifically for my family, but for everyone that was affected. And donated to the resource center where we had, it was like a giant Salvation Army store. That was fabulous. Very much needed. And they did a lot of donating of cash also, and on top of clothing and items and shoes and cosmetics and food. When the fire happens, it's affects every part of your life. Your finances, your house, your animals, your health. It's amazing how many people have had follow-up, how do I say it? Physical things happen in their body, not realizing the stress that they have been under since the fire happened. That's pretty amazing to me that it can affect you so deeply. Hair loss, all kinds of strange things. My husband was mowing the day of the fire. The fire hadn't, yeah, actually the fire had started, but it was way far away. And the Lord said, keep mowing. Keep weed eating, keep mowing. And he's exhausted, and it's 94 degrees. And he's way past ready to quit mowing. And the Lord just kept saying, keep mowing. Nope, you're not done. Keep going, keep going. And he finally finished. He stopped, and he said, okay, that's good. And he stopped mowing, and he put it away. And within hours, we were evacuated. And when we came home, it was really interesting because the fire, the blackened ground, there was a line of demarcation on our property. And the fire stopped right at the point where he stopped mowing. In other words, there was a line that he stopped mowing at. And when we came home, the fire didn't cross that line. So the little voice in your head you ought to listen to.